Hi everyone, I'm Danielle with Trinity Readings. We are going to do a end of the year reading, and this is going to be for Pisces. Keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you find that the reading doesn't resonate, you can always check your moon, rising, or Venus placements, because sometimes those will resonate more. And I do offer personal readings. You can get all that information in the description box. All right, so we're just going to get you some overall messages from your guides. Anything you need to know as we close out the year. What's going on with your energy? What do your guides want you to be aware of? Chaos is a necessary part of life, and sometimes chaos, conflict, crazy events, unexpected change, sometimes that is necessary in order to get us to see a truth that we've been avoiding, or see a truth that maybe we just have not been able to see. Because when you get into like the same day-to-day routine, you know, when you're in survival mode, when you're just trying to make it day by day, you know, your focus stays in one direction. It stays in one perspective. You kind of get into that space of like being on autopilot. And so sometimes chaos has to come in to shake everything up, so we can see the things that maybe we have not necessarily been paying attention to. I feel like there's some kind of chaos that you've been dealing with or are dealing with now. It's kind of meant to, like, something is coming in to shake things up, to help you let go of things that you have been attached to, that have been keeping you from your destiny, as cheesy as that sounds, or keeping you from having fulfillment, keeping you from having what it is that you want. It's like you're being pulled away from things that you have attached yourself to, or things that have attached themselves to you, that have been weighing you down. And so anytime just anything out of the ordinary happens, or anything chaotic happens, just remind yourself, this is happening for a reason, because there's something that I need to see. It's helping me see beyond the mask. You know how if you like take the same route to work every single day, you know, the same route back and forth to work, you probably will notice that you don't even remember like driving back and forth to work half the time, or at least driving back home from work, because you've driven it so many times. It's just like etched in your energy. It's etched in your brain. It's, you know, so you're not likely to notice like anything out of the ordinary on your drive home, because you're in that, you know, what is that even called? You're in like one-minded focus. You're in autopilot. Take any chaos as a sign that you're being assisted in seeing the truth of something. Anything else your guides are wanting you to know regarding the energy that you're sitting in? Pisces have a tendency to romanticize things, and that's not really a bad thing. But Pisces do have a tendency to romanticize things, good for the good or for the bad. Like sometimes Pisces can like feel like something is either like the best love in the world, and then other times it can be like love is just a tragic thing. But because Pisces feel things on such a deep level, sometimes they see things with a like romanticized perception, or through like rose-colored glasses. I feel like you might be romanticizing something to the point that you're not seeing the value. Because you're romanticizing something, you're not able to manifest it. You're not seeing the value in yourself. You're not seeing the true value of it. It's like your perception of something might be completely, it's like, I don't want to say you're holding the wrong perception of something. But it's like there's something that you're seeing in a more romanticized type of view, or in this very idealistic way. And because you're seeing it in this ideal way, or you're seeing something in this very like romanticized perfect manner, because you're seeing it in that way, it's almost like it's keeping you from pursuing it, or it's keeping you from having it because of the way that you're seeing it. And that probably doesn't make any sense at all. Pisces have a tendency to, they say that Pisces have a tendency to escape reality, right? They get lost in their own worlds. They get lost in their fantasy world. And it's, again, because Pisces feel things on such a very, very deep level. And not everybody feels things that deeply. And so it's difficult because the way that you see the world is not going to be the same as other people see the world. You see it more deeply than other people. Other people might not be taking things as seriously as you are. Other people, you might take a negative look more harshly than somebody else would. You know what I mean? Like, you feel everything very deeply. And on top of that, anybody that you connect with, you feel their energy and their emotions at that very deep level. So it's like you're taking in everything. And because you feel everything on such a deep level, you can tell when what is being said, like, you can see behind the mask easily. But it makes it difficult because a lot of times what people show you versus what you feel are going to be completely different, because a lot of times what people show versus what they say, what people do versus what they say, it ends up being different. You know what I mean? People hide a lot of things. And so it's hard for you to the reality that you deal with a lot of times versus what you're feeling tend to be very different things. And sometimes it gets easier to stay in that inner world because that's what makes more sense. But it's like, you might be romanticizing or idealizing other people and not seeing the same thing in yourself, like not seeing the same energy within yourself, like seeing the person in front of you as this amazing and great person, but seeing them as such a great person that it makes you go, oh my God, like I'm not the same. I can't live up to that. And so it's almost like because of that, like you're not seeing the value in yourself. You're not seeing the value that you're bringing to the table. And it's like you're supporting other people's dreams. You're supporting, you see the best in other people, but you're not giving that same love to yourself. You feel like you have to fight much harder to get what it is that you want. But it's just like what you see as like ideal in other people is like, it's almost like it's like people aren't as ideal as you're making them out to be. Let me see if I can get more on this. Sorry. Yeah, it's like you're seeing something that you want or desire, a person, or just, something, even something for yourself. Like you have this desire, but it's like you're seeing the desire through these rose-colored glasses, or in a very, perfect, ideal way. And because of that, you're diminishing the value that is within you. It's like you're making that thing or that person in a higher position than you. And so it automatically makes you feel less and makes you feel like you have something to prove. And it's not to say that it's not like valuable or worthwhile, but it's like because of the status that you're putting on it, you're creating like more energetic pressure on yourself. It's also like there's something that you're trying to figure out, like something that you're trying to get accomplished, something that you're trying to move towards, something that you're seeking, like emotional fulfillment that you're seeking, and you're wondering like why you can't, like what's missing, why you can't figure this out, or why it's not working in the way that you want it to be working. But I feel like the answers are not outside of you. The answers are within you, like within the way that you're seeing yourself. Also, like there's a need to like trust in your perception. Sorry, I'm trying to word it better because I feel like that just goes against you. What you see in other people, the good you see in other people, more than likely exists in you more than you realize. Like it's like what you're seeing in other people is something that you need to trust is in you, if that makes sense. like you're placing something out of reach. You're making something be like this thing that's going to take a long time to manifest, this it's going to take a long time to work towards it, but it's like you're doing that because it feels more comfortable keeping it as something that you need to work towards, instead of actually like having it, because I feel like you don't feel as if you're at the level to have, but it's because you're making what you want bigger than what it really is. Not that there's not value to it, but that you don't see that you already match the energy, you already match the value. I hope I'm making sense. It's like, why can't I have that happiness? Why can't I have that love that other people have? But it's like the love that you perceive that other people have, you are seeing it in a very romanticized, idealized way. And it's not really like all unicorns and rainbows. You know what I mean? Like it's not the people that maybe you see as having these perfect relationships. They had to have all of these difficult conversations. They went through, insecure moment. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it's like you're trying to live up to a standard that doesn't exist. Like you feel like you need to get to this standard of perfection within yourself in order to have what everybody else has, or to have what it is that you want, but like it doesn't exist. Like that level of perfection is not necessary. You're already at the space that you need to be. It's because it's almost like you feel like you need to fight for something, or you feel like you need to struggle, but you don't really need to do that. And it's like there's things that you're fighting for, like fighting to maintain, that aren't necessarily healthy. But it's like the reason that you're doing that is because it helps to keep this other thing like just out of reach. And you might get frustrated that everything I want is always just out of reach, but it's like you are unknowingly creating that out of reach energy because of how you are perceiving yourself. Like, why can't I have what I want? It's simply because you feel like you need to be perfect or a certain way to have it, and that's not the case. I feel like you've been let down in the past, and that's why you kind of proceed with caution. But the thing that you feel let you down in the past was actually like a blessing, and it is because you idolized that in a very similar way. You placed it above you, and it's not above you. Yeah, there's like an opportunity for really beautiful growth, especially in your love life, especially in a relationship, but I feel like you are feeling very limited. You're not seeing the potential for growth. And it's like going to kind of stay in this stagnant period until you kind of like look within. What is the value that you're placing on yourself? Also being able to, it's almost like what you're wanting means integrating something together, like in a relationship. And that means being like taking the good with the bad, understanding that that's part of it. It's emotional and it's practical, like being able to kind of, you know, the best of both worlds, I guess. Yeah, I feel like you're much harder on yourself than you need to be. I feel like you put much more pressure on yourself than you need to be. I feel like people celebrate you more often than you realize. And it, like, again, it's a matter of like shifting your perspective. Like, you feel like that people exist in this one way or perceive you in this one way, but it's actually like completely different and much more positive. Like, the way that you see it is like you are, like, you have to fight harder or sacrifice more than other people. But I feel like it's just like a need to like change the way that you're, yeah, be more compassionate for yourself. Like, be more compassionate of yourself. And whatever, like, it's almost like there's some kind of chaos, either that you're having these like sudden aha moments, you're having all of these revelation, or there's all of a sudden all this chaos going on around you, or everything that you're doing to, you know, accomplish something is suddenly no longer working, but all of this is happening so you can see the truth, so you can see that you're making something bigger than it really is, and in the same time you're diminishing yourself. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful end of the year.